Hello, it's Amanda coming in here today to talk about our amazing trip that Doug and I had to Bulgaria. And I think a lot of time, like when we first heard of Bulgaria, I wasn't even sure where it was located, didn't know much about the country. And it's very interesting because when we say to people like, oh, we're going to Bulgaria or we went to Bulgaria, it's like, wow, what brought you to Bulgaria? Why Bulgaria? It's a place that I feel like not everyone knows about. And so we had an incredible trip. We went a few days early and spent some time in Vienna, Austria, and did a food tour there. We highly, highly recommend food tours. It was just really fun. Got out of our comfort zone, used the public transportation, the subway, the buses. The food was amazing, and just the people were even better. Like just truly, truly such a great trip. And so after spending a couple of days in Vienna, we got on a plane and flew to Sofia, Bulgaria. Stayed a night in Sofia, the capital city of Bulgaria, and then we headed over to another hotel, King's Spa Medical Resort, and it's in Kotzenlank, and that is very close to the doTERRA distillery that we're going to talk about here in just a minute. And so we made our way over to what is known as the Valley of the Roses. And you know, it was an incredible trip all the way around, but the highlight was visiting the Terra Rosa distillery in Bulgaria. And this was actually the second time that Doug and I have been on this trip. And at first it was kind of like, should we go again? But we just knew that we loved it so much. The country, the people, the food. And it just was so incredible to be able to experience it again. And I think honestly, like it was an even better trip, and we just have fallen more in love with the country and the people, and pictures that you see and all the beautiful roses like do not even do justice to this place. I'm just so grateful that I got to ring in my 50th birthday in this beautiful country, surrounded by roses and awesome people, and my husband there with me by my side. It was just such an extra special trip that we will not forget. So why Bulgaria, right? Why did we go there? And it was because of doTERRA. It's a trip we earned with doTERRA, and it is because that we have a rose distillery there. And when we went in 2023, we were actually there for the ribbon cutting of that distillery. And that distillery, they call it the Rose Valley. It's nestled kind of between two mountains. So when you pull up at the distillery, you see the beautiful mountains, you see a field of roses, and then the building where the pure oil is distilled. And it's just such a nice setting. And the reason that that distillery is built where it is, it's in Shipka. And the reason that it's built where it is because of how well the roses grow there. It's damask roses that have grown in Bulgaria for a couple hundred years. And that is the kind of rose that we use. They are pink roses and they smell absolutely amazing. I wish I could like describe the smell and let you smell the smell of the roses everywhere we went in that area. It was just such a prominent and such a beautiful smell. And so they grow really well nestled in between those two mountains. And so that is where we built the distillery there, because it's a very short growing season, okay? So it's like May. So 3 to 4 weeks is the harvest. Sorry, the growing season takes longer, sorry. But the harvest of the roses, when they are grown and ready to be picked, to be produced into oil and other products, it's about 3 to 4 weeks that they get. You pick them. And then the thing about roses, and I just found this so fascinating, is you have to pick them in the early morning, and you want to get them picked so the oil stays on them before the hot sun comes out. And roses are also, this is mind-blowing to me to think of this and then to see the massive amounts of rose petals. They are all hand-picked. There are no machines used to pick roses. Okay, so now it helps us understand like why rose, the queen of oils, is such a precious precious oil with a higher price tag. It really helps you understand when you see that up close. And then the other reason that we built the distillery right here in the Rose Valley is because we don't have time to transport the roses, that it would lose the oil and that would not be as good of a quality. They have to be distilled the same day that they are picked. So that is why doTERRA built this distillery right where they did in the Shipka. And then the other neat thing about this that I want to mention, because the last trip that we were on in Bulgaria, we actually traveled to the other side of the country. We started there near Varna is the airport we flew into. It's on the Black Sea side. And we had the opportunity to visit Tate Distillery. And that distillery has been in Bulgaria since 2015, and it's in Dobrich, Bulgaria. And that distillery was put there because our lavender comes from Bulgaria, doTERRA's lavender, Melissa oil, summer savory are all grown, harvested, and then distilled in Bulgaria. And so we wouldn't be able to transport, it's too far of a drive to take the roses all the way to that distillery. So that's why the distillery was built in Shipka, near the Rose Valley. But the other cool thing that happens at Tate Distillery, we ship in our frankincense resin. It's actually a hard resin, almost like looks like a rock. And so it's stable and it can be distilled throughout the year at other times. So what's really cool is the frankincense being shipped in to the distillery Tate allows the distillery to operate all year round, and then it employs people year round, which is really, really important. So it's a stable job for the people living around that area that work at the distillery. And so that's a little bit about the history and just knowing that some of these precious, precious oils come from Bulgaria. Lavender is our pharmaceutical grade oil. We need it to be the same consistency, same super high quality. And at the distillery in Tate, they have a huge testing lab. Like, it's just mind blowing, all of the behind the scenes work that makes sure that it's meeting all of the purity standards for doTERRA and for our bottling of our oils. So it's an amazing process. But as we drove into the distillery, you're just like, wow, like the mountains, the beautiful roses and the smell, and it just creates such a peaceful atmosphere. And I think it makes us just really appreciate the power of rose oil even more. And so one thing that really, really, that I enjoyed seeing up close and firsthand are the farmers arriving to drop off their bags. And they kind of just line up and they have these big clear bags filled with pink rose petals. And they drop them off, they're weighed, it's recorded. And these farmers are paid for these rose petals within usually a few days, but up to a week. They are paid very quickly. That does not always happen with other companies, and that's a huge priority of doTERRA. We really take our co-impact sourcing super, super serious. And when you hear about it, it's like, okay, we work with these farmers, we help them, and to be there and actually see it and see the joy and the gratitude in these farmers' like eyes and their hearts, and just how thankful they are that we take those precious rose petals and make them into an oil and other products to be used for benefits, right? And so just to see that firsthand, and it gives me an even deeper appreciation for all of the behind the scenes work. So that's kind of what I'm trying to open up and give you a little bit of this experience, obviously, since you were not there with us, but so much gratitude. I think sometimes we open up our bottles of oil and we use them and we know that they work for the things we use them for. We grab lavender all the time, right? It's a go-to in the summer. It's so many uses. And rose oil, the powerful properties for hormone balancing and self-confidence and uplifting mood. And when we're under stress, we think of all the benefits and we know and we grab them, but it's easy to overlook all of the work that went into getting these oils into the bottle. And so just knowing how much doTERRA invests in and that they value the quality so much, but also they really value taking care of people. And so I know I say it a lot, but I always say when we're opening up our bottles and smelling them and diffusing them and rolling them on, using them to make a difference with our health, we're getting that benefit, but we literally are helping people all over the world have a better life, right? Isn't that so cool? And it just reminds us, that it's so much more than just essential oils. We're known in doTERRA for essential oils. We know they're the best quality, but it's just so amazing to see the relationships and the people and the lives that are being impacted. And one of the other cool things that was new, that was not there last time we visited Terra Rosa back in 2023, but they have a little store and it's open when the distillery is open for the month that it's open. And basically the employees that work at our distilleries in Bulgaria hand make some products. There's some soaps, little bags, they had t-shirts there, and they sell the products. But what's really, really cool is that 50% of the proceeds of all of those products actually go and support social impact causes around Bulgaria. So just helping people get education, skills, job skills, and people that are orphanages. We've done a lot of work there, educating them and giving them life skills so they can go out and get jobs instead of just ending, being on streets and stuff. And so it was really, really cool to see that new little shop. It was fun to buy some things and just support that cause as well. And just seeing how they want to make an impact, because doTERRA and these oils have helped them so much that they are able to then make these products and they want to give back to their own community. So it was really, really humbling to see that. And then I think we just felt so much gratitude while we were there. We talk about the source, we talk about the period, we talk about all the other things, but really just the care and the work and the love that goes into putting these products together, and just watching those rose petals go through the, I don't know what it is, like a belt. There's pictures, but that puts them in, and then they get down into the distillery, and then we got to see the whole process of it coming out of the bottle. And it's like amazing, because the glass bottle, when it's completely full, it's like 100 bottles of rose oil or something. And each 5 ml bottle of pure rose sells at $275 a bottle. So you can understand why it's so precious. It comes in different forms, right? We make it in a roller that's already mixed with coconut oil to make it a little bit more affordable. And then like the rose lotion is made with the Bulgarian rose, clean ingredient lotion. So there are a few other products that we make out of rose oil. And I'm gonna have a whole nother video on that. So be sure you watch that one, because the benefits of rose is just amazing. But I just am so grateful to be able to share just a little snippet. I hope you enjoy the photos, and please ask us questions. And it just reminds us that, we love that we get these experiences, and it truly is our hope that we want to help a lot more people have experiences like this and travel. And just a reminder as we close out today's video, take time to smell the roses. And maybe it's not roses, but grab an oil. Take a couple deep breaths. Breathing is so important for us. And just give gratitude for all the great things that you do have in your life right now, because the more we focus on that, the more good things will keep coming our way, right? Like so many blessings. And I just thank you so much for listening in and watching my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, invite your friends, spread the word, and keep on learning.